Our words today have ants in them, so the C-E, the E is forcing the C to make its sound at the end of these words. So you've got balance, romance, finance, nuisance, instance, entrance, distance, ambulance, importance and attendance. So some of those words you might give a bit of a schwat to, but if you can pronounce our ants, it'll make the spelling easier. So we've got some other little tricks inside them. I think when you get to the end and you have to read, I would syllabify the words, break them into syllables, then spell them and write them before you check them. So breaking them up, you'll have to go through your open and closed syllable rules and your roots and affixes. So identify the root word and then add the affixes in as well and take consideration of those. Now, let's have a look. In nuisance, just be careful you've got that UI in there. And down here in importance, you've got the OR as an R control vowel. Now, im, usually the prefix is in, but before a P, a B, or an M, we use IM. So because importance starts with a P, so that's why we've changed the prefix in to im there. Attendance, that's making a short vowel sound because you've got the double consonant after it. So you'll see quite a few things revised in there that you've already learnt. Let's go through and look at what these words mean. Balance is an even distribution of weight. It means something stable. Romance is a pleasurable feeling we have related to love. Finance is the management of money. Nuisance, when something is causing interference or annoyance. Instance is a single occurrence. Entrance, of course, is the way in. The distance is how far from one point to the next. An ambulance is a vehicle that we use to carry sick or injured people to hospital. So importance is a state of significance or value at any present time, and the attendance is being present at a place or an occasion. These words all end in ants, A-N-C-E, balance, romance, finance, nuisance, instance, entrance, distance, ambulance, importance and attendance. You need to go through and highlight that ants, those letters in all of these words. And then we talked about their meanings yesterday, so then you have to use that knowledge to finish these sentences here. We've left out a word for you, and they're all list words. Now finish the sayings and link to the meaning. So you may have to discuss these within your group. The missing word is, of course, a list word, so full of one's own would be important. So you put it there, and then you've got to link it to the meaning, which is having a high opinion of oneself. So we've done the first one together. You can do the rest on your own. Now these, you have to split the words into open and closed syllables. So the important thing for open and closed syllables is to work out whether you have long or short vowel sounds in the word. If a word has a long vowel sound in it, you're going to cut the syllable straight after the vowel sound. But if it has a short vowel in the syllable, you're going to close the syllable with a consonant. So if you take balance, the A is a short sound, so we're going to cut it after the L, after the consonant. We're going to close that syllable with a consonant. So balance. So if you look down here, the cheats are, if you've got a double consonant usually, like attendance, you would split it between the two consonants, and the consonants could be the same or they could be different. So that's a good hint too. And if you have an R control vowel, like or, you usually cut a syllable after a long vowel sound, which the OR is making a long vowel sound. Any vowel with an R makes a long vowel sound. But the problem is here we have port is a root, so we have to keep that together. So im would be the prefix. So this is a different ruling for syllabification. So we're going to keep the root together. The prefix can cut off important. So you break it up that way. So have a think about it. Does it have a root word in it that you must keep together? Does it have a suffix that you can cut off? Otherwise, the open and close rule with short and long vowels applies. Our words today are balance, romance, finance, nuisance, instance, entrance, distance, ambulance, importance and attendance. So ants at the end of a word is sometimes part of the base word, such as in nuisance. Otherwise, when you see the suffix ants, you know that the word is a noun. For example, attendance. So write the base words for each of these list words. Then down here you have to fill in either the singular or plural nouns that make those that fit in with those sentences. Then down here you have to fill in the gap with the missing noun that acts as an adjective. So you might have to think very carefully about some of those list words to make them fit in there. Change the base word into an adjective to finish the sentence. So she was a late something in the cycling race. So you'd have to work out from the word entrance. No, entrance wouldn't fit. How would you have to change that word to make it fit into that sentence in its correct form? So down the bottom you have to change these list words into adverbs. Now you know that we commonly add ly to the end of a base word to change it into an adverb, but here you're going to have to think a little bit beyond that. So romancely, no, it's not a word. Romantically is a word. So you're going to have to work out how you're going to change that base word, extend it into a form that you can add ly at the end of it to make it into an adverb. This is compound and complex sentences. So we're going to start off with compound sentences, where we join an independent clause to an independent clause using a coordinating conjunction. And the coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So we use fanboys to remind us of each of those conjunctions. Now, these form a compound sentence, but they need a comma after the first independent clause and before the coordinating conjunction. So I've put that there for you. We've got a compound sentence, we have an independent clause, then a comma, then one of the coordinating conjunctions, and then the next independent clause. So that's exactly what you have to do down here. You have to highlight the coordinating conjunction, then add the comma as shown and finish with an independent clause. So this is the example. We've got an independent clause. Maria forgot her password, comma, then the coordinating conjunction, then another independent clause. She made a new one. So you can go through and pop those commas in before the fanboys or the coordinating conjunction before it, and then finish each of those sentences off, those compound sentences off with an independent clause. Now down here we have complex sentences, and that's where we can have a dependent clause and an independent clause. So if we have the dependent clause first, we could have either first, but if we have the dependent clause first, then we have to put the comma before the independent clause. So although we won the competition is not a full sentence, so we're going to put the comma immediately after that dependent clause before you finish off the sentence with an independent clause. And because we're using both, the sentence contains both an independent and a dependent clause with a comma in there, we're calling those complex sentences.